Hi there, it's Mindful Monday, and this is the Monday before our new year rolls around. So I'll be writing a little bit more about this on my blog, but I don't really think the new year is some magical flip of the switch, right? Life is just hard. Now, we've had a particularly difficult year for a variety of reasons, but life is always hard, let's be clear. So we're always dealing with a lot of things that make life difficult. But what I do think that the new year is an opportunity for is a time to reflect, a time to rest, a time to release. So if you're hoping to release some things from 2020, maybe some things that have been hard, maybe some challenges, maybe some griefs, maybe disappointments or sadness or anxiety or frustration, anything at all. If you're hoping to release any of those things, I'm going to invite you into a practice today for that. Feel into something that stands out from this year and experience whatever emotions that you have from that, and take a moment to breathe into it. You may notice that emotion or feeling maybe get a little bit more intense, and that's okay. Feel free to turn the intensity of that up or down, whatever is comfortable to you. But also breathe into it and notice what happens as you breathe into it. Often, not always, it might dissipate. And offer that release out. Breathing in, feeling into that moment of release. And when that feels complete, come back to your awareness of the room and do something that Reiki practitioners and some yogis call like dry brushing. You take one hand and cross it over to the opposite shoulder and cross and do this, kind of brushing that energy off to release it. Maybe take one last breath. And I hope you can release a little bit of 2020 in that. And I hope you join me for my longer practice of restorative yoga and meditation in my Releasing 2020 practice, which will be on New Year's Eve day this week. You can register through Eventbrite. There's still a few spots open. And you can find that Eventbrite link in all of my social